Hello, welcome to the third video in our little series, Chess Teaching Life Lessons. Here we have a very famous position. It's occurred in a World Championship match, so you might like to think who were the players, and more importantly for our purpose, what happened after Black resigned. So our topic is winning without crowing and losing without crying. How to be a graceful loser and a generous winner. And the first thing I say is this is best learnt by observing others. You can't see yourself, but you can see others, and in them you recognize good ways to do it and bad ways. So copy the good and avoid the bad. And this advice is good for the whole of life. You can't afford to make all the mistakes yourself, so watch and learn from others. If you win, don't crow. Try to think of some genuine compliment about your opponent's play. There always will be something to say. If you lose, don't make excuses. One prominent chess player said, "I never beat a well man." Every time he won, the loser would say, "Oh, I've got a headache," or "Oh, I've been very busy," or "lost sleep," or something like that. So that's why he jokingly said, "I never beat a well man." And give your opponent due credit and be specific. That's important, I think. For example, "I thought your last few moves were particularly accurate," or something like, "You weathered my attack quite well, up until the last bit perhaps." And instead of saying, "I made many stupid mistakes," you could say, "Your game was pretty free of mistakes," which will obviously be true. Obviously he made less mistakes than you did. So yeah, be specific and don't just give meaningless, empty praise, and learn from your loss. I mean, a loss isn't so bad if you learn from it. I knew someone who would just say, "Good game." Well, that's fair enough. At least it's better than sitting like a stunned mullet like I've done. Although disappointment is natural and you can't and shouldn't rigidly suppress it. If you're very upset at losing, perhaps it's a sign that you're attaching too much importance to the game. Anyway, there are some people you'll never be able to catch up with. And this reminds me of a joke that I heard. Adolf Anderssen was a world chess champion in the 19th century, and there's a story that one time he was playing, just going over a game on a board on a train, and a stranger came up to him and challenged him to a game, and he didn't know who Anderssen was. Anyway, Anderssen beat him, and then the man wanted another game, and Anderssen beat him again, and Anderssen said, "Okay, I'll give you odds of a knight." And the man said, "Impossible. I'm the champion of my club. I'm the best player around here." Anyway, Anderssen gave him a knight and beat him. And then Anderssen gave him a queen and beat him. And the man was very impressed and stunned. He said, "Stranger, you are a very strong player. Tell me, have you ever played the great Adolf Anderssen?" And Anderssen smiled and said, No, I haven't, but I have a friend who sometimes plays Anderssen. Anderssen gives him a queen and beats him, and my friend gives me a queen and beats me." So there we are. There are some people that you will never be able to catch up with. You'll always be miles behind them. And also, don't let winning or losing detract from your enjoyment of the game. The game that we had up before was Fischer Spassky match for the World Championship 1972, game 6, and it was the final position after Fischer moved Queen F4. And you can find it in many places on the internet and in books. This is where I got it from. Spassky stood up and joined the applause after Fischer's masterful display. So finally, here it is again. And the game is well worth going over because Fischer's play really was exceptional, very smooth, very neat and tidy. And this is the final position. And Spassky, I think, he was a real sportsman, and out of genuine appreciation for Fischer's play, he actually stood up and applauded. I think that's probably the first time or the only time that's ever happened in World Championship matches, and I don't know if it's happened in any big tournaments. It's pretty rare. I've never done it myself. So there's a great model. I'm not saying we should be like him, but what a good model he is of a gracious loser.